Talmor, Shishin Marachi. Talmor is my home. My family have worked the land for generations. My gran says the island does not belong to us, but we belong to the island. And we must be ready, for a great evil is coming, and death follows with it.
Listen and subscribe to the latest season of Undertow, The Harrowing, a Storyglass production presented by Realm, available wherever you get your podcasts.
A bloodbath tonight in the rural town of Chinook.
Everyone here is hiding a secret.
4 more victims found scattered.
Some worse than others.
I came as fast as I could. I'm Deputy Ruth Vogel.
And soon, my quiet life will never be the same.
Realm presents a 30 Ninjas production, Chinook, starring Kelly Marie Tran and Sanaa Lathan. Listen to Chinook wherever you get your podcasts.
Oh, hey everybody! On a totally casual, really sort of anonymously numbered episode of the podcast that we've ever made.
It's not a big deal. It's our 200th episode.
200!
That's a lot of episodes. That is, in fact, way more episodes than Buffy the Vampire Slayer ever had.
This is true. Due to cast interviews, bonus episodes, 2-parters, 4-parters, our inability to stop ourselves from making extra episodes, we have hit the 200-ep benchmark as of the publishment of this episode. How cool.
I know. And I probably would have missed it. It was just like such a happenstance thing that I was in the feed when I was uploading, I guess, the Helen episode. And it was like, hey, this is your 199th episode. And I was like, that's significant.
Dang.
Yeah. So, we're not doing anything except for feeling really good about ourselves for making 200 episodes of this podcast. Go us.
Go us.
A couple of quick announcements before we get into today's episode. Bring on the night. The first is that we are starting today, as of the airing of this episode, we're having a huge sale in our UK store. Only our UK store, and it is on every product that is in there. You can get 40% off from today through Sunday. So basically the deal is this. We're keeping the UK store, but it's going to be bestsellers and staple items. So like Buffering the Vampire Slayer centric stuff, things like Smash the Demon Lizard Patriarchy, etc. And before we do that, we're doing this one big sale. So if there are things in the store that you want, now is the time to get them because A, they're really cheap, and B, they might not be there after Sunday in the UK store. Mm-hmm. So as usual, bufferingthevampireslayer.com, just click on shop and you'll see a link to the US store and a link to the UK store. There will be more information on socials as well.
Indeed. Now, beautiful friends in the greater Philadelphia metropolitan area, let me tell you what, we will be live taping an episode, Storyteller, at World Cafe Live on June 11th. And as of right now, as we are recording this, there are less than 30 tickets remaining.
Yeah.
All the information is on our calendar at bufferingthevampireslayer.com/JennyCalendar. And you can find a ticket link there. But if you are thinking about coming to this show and you want to turn that thinking into doing, I would advise doing it immediately. Do not miss out. Please join us. There is still the ghost of a chance Frank is coming to the show.
Oh my God. If it happens, I will ascend. I will ascend, I tell you.
So will Frank. So get your tickets now, if you please.
Also, just a little note, a little bug to put in your ear that the next episode we put up, it goes up, I believe, on April 20th. Showtime is the name of that episode. And in the intro, there's going to be some other announcements about some other things. So you might want to listen to it. I'm just saying. You might want to, that's all.
Oh.
Speaking of putting bugs in people's ears, do you want to tell us who won the sexual tension?
No. Am I allowed to say no?
You are.
Okay. The results are in. for the Sexual Tension Awards for the episode Never Leave Me. In 4th place, with somehow 7.1% of the vote, Warren / the First and Andrew. In 3rd place, with 24.1% of the vote, it's Buffy the First and Spike, with 30.2% of the vote in 2nd place. They've got a bright future. It's Xandrew.
Good job, boys.
And with 38.6% of the vote, I wouldn't say that they had the time of their lives, but I would say that, oh, my love, my darling, I hunger for your touch. Are you still mine? Well, Patrick Swayze in Ghost and Andrew, are you still one another's? With frigging 38.6% of the vote in 1st place, I guess you are. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Also, Jenny, did you realize that 3 of the 8 noms in slots are incorporeal?
I was just thinking about how, I guess when you're in love, you make it work.
Well, but I mean, what could build more tension than you literally cannot touch the person that you want to touch?
True, you just pass right through each other.
So, yeah.
Wow, hot. Yeah. Well, special thanks to the 523 of you who voted. Much appreciated.
Special thanks to Patrick Swayze for being perfect in everything you do, including winning the Sexual Tension Awards.
Indeed.
All right. A little email note. I like to put them at the top of episodes, and there are so many to choose from. I wanted to clarify a point from the Welcome to the Hellmouth episode, because we got a lot of notes about this, and I actually find it really fascinating. So this particular note is from Michaela, who wrote in to say, I was listening to your Helen episode, and I wanted to answer your question about why Google and Kleenex and other brands get so up in arms about the public using their company's name to refer to all companies, products, or services. These companies and their lawyers are afraid of a process called genericization, in which a trademarked... Did you have something?
Sounds bad.
In which a trademarked name becomes so widely attributed to a market that it no longer refers to the actual trademarked thing. If this happens, the company can actually lose their trademark, which means that anyone, including their competitors, can use their name without having to pay the rights to it. I know.
Uh-oh.
So we were missing this huge piece of legal information that really answers it all. I had no idea that if you became so famous that everyone was using your name as a verb, that you could then lose your own name. That seems bananas to me. But a lot of you wrote in about it, and I was really, really interested. So thank you, Michaela, and thank you everyone else that tweeted and wrote in about that. We are all just a little bit smarter, or at least Jenny and I are. And now I guess we should bring on the night.
Let us bring it on, the night. Hello and welcome to Buffering the Vampire Slayer, a podcast where we are watching and discussing every episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer one by one, spoiler free, in tandem with a gal.
What happened? What did you remember?
In tandem with the gals I hope don't hog the covers. Angel on top. I'm Jenny Owen Youngs.
And I am Kristin Russo. And this week we are back. Thank you so much for your patience. We're talking about Buffy, Season 7, Episode 10, Bring On the Night. Stay tuned at the end of this podcast every other week for an original song written by Jenny recapping the Buffy episode we are discussing.
Bring on the Night was written by Marty Noxon and Doug Petrie, directed by David Grossman, and are you ready, Kristin?
I am.
It originally aired on December 17th, 2002. How does it feel?
Wow, my 22nd birthday on the nose. On the nose. Incredible. Wow. And I'm so excited. This has never happened to me before. This is the one where I was 22, newly, and Giles returns to Sunnydale. Yes, he does, with 3 potential slayers. Wow, that's a new word for our vocabulary. Whom Buffy must protect from the first. Meanwhile, a ferocious uber vampire is released from the Hellmouth, and Buffy must kill it before it kills one of the potentials. Spoiler alert. Narrator's voice. She did not.
Man, let me run down the previouslys for you. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Previously on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Istanbul, Berlin, Giles and an axe behind him. Dawn saw her mom. Andrew stabbed Jonathan. Wood buried Jonathan. Willow found Andrew buying blood. Andrew got tied to a chair. Buffy believes in Spike. The Bringers crashed their party, stole Spike. Spike got bled. Unleashing the Turok-Han.
Yeah. This is the kind of previously on that lets you know we're just about smack dab in the center of the season.
And this episode, respectful regards to everyone, much like this previously on, is a little overstuffed. There's like so much happening, especially so much dialogue happening that like, I don't know, I feel like we're losing a little bit. Especially like the Joy stuff is like very heavy and good, and I feel like there's just so much crammed into this episode that it's hard to experience all of the really good things to their maximum.
Yeah, I think this could have been at least 1.5 episodes, if not 2. You know, with a little extra, we could have had 2 full episodes. I think here, I agree. The only thing that I was hoping that you would do when you talked about the previous Leons was say, "Gather them," which is my favorite. I love it. Every time they play it, I'm so happy about Robson. Gather them. Yeah, there's a lot going on. I mean, simply the line that we follow with Buffy, where she is going back to the tree lot, finding the Uber vamp, getting the shit kicked out of her, and giving this speech that we will, of course, talk about at the end. Like, that feels like its own episode, especially if you add in Joyce. And then we have the entire, what do you call it? The like rules behind the Uber vamp and the first and the potentials. Like we learn, it's like so much information in this episode. So
yeah,
probably a cue to start talking, I guess.
Okay. Deja vu. Xander has a window to repair once again.
Xander was a good time in this episode. He starts off right there, making me smile. It's a loop, just like the mummy hand. And then he has a great idea. Why don't we just board the window up? Why not?
It is a good idea. Save yourself the heartache, my dude, at least for a little while. They're trying to research this new evil. However, the first is not search engine optimized. They are turning up jack shit.
You know what, though? May she rest in peace. If anyone had heeded Jenny Calendar's calls, perhaps the first would have been Googleable. You know, like this was exactly the divide between Giles and Jenny, was that Giles wanted to keep all the knowledge in the books, and Jenny was like, but my man, it's the age of the internet. Let's get this shit online. Anya, like just in general this season, I think is playing a good role of the ex-demon who can like make jokes about demons, you know, like she carries this a lot in the show, and she's like, yeah, I've heard it all. This evil that's so evil it doesn't have a name, the oldest evil of all time. I'm bad. Doesn't it make you horny to the record scratch of the room?
Blank.
Or terrified. She's looking I just want to take a moment to say that Anya is looking very, very hot. She's wearing glasses and making good jokes and also being studious. It's just she's checking all the boxes for me.
Dawn is getting slappy. Andrew's asleep, and they want Andrew to wake up so they can question him. So Dawn slaps him in the face.
He's like passed out. He's like a little more than just asleep, right?
Oh, sorry. Yes, he is unconscious.
Yeah.
The slap does not rouse him. She goes to slap him again, and Buffy's like, Dawn, could you not? And Dawn is like, Anya gets to hit him. Anya gets to hit.
Yeah. Anya and Dawn, and
him.
it's mostly in the next scene with the two of them, but I'm like, I would like that buddy cop duo. You know what I mean? Just the ridiculousness of the two of them. Buffy is basically like, listen, I can confirm, like, Anya, you're very funny, but I was face to face with this. Like, I saw it, and it was enormous, and it was ancient, and, like, I think that this is actually for real. We have to save Spike. Like, we have to get our shit together. Get me the Watcher's Codex. And then who hands her the Watcher's Codex, Jenny?
Oh, the one and only Joyce Summers, of course.
Yeah. Anytime that Buffy
really
has,
joicing
like,
it up.
Yeah. Anytime that Buffy has like an emotional mom, it just really hits hard. And she, she's just like, Mom, you're not real. You're the first. Joyce is like, you need to wake up. And like, I will say, because, I am not super Buffy experienced. I mean, now I'm super Buffy experienced up through season 7, episode 10, but I don't really remember all of the bits and bobs from the rest of the season. And so, like, at this point, I'm like, but that isn't the first, right? Like, I actually don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. But I do feel like the way that Joyce is being positioned is very, very different than how the first is being positioned. And also, like, she doesn't seem, and maybe it's the long con of the first, but she just doesn't seem to have harm in mind for Buffy.
Do we have any evidence that the first can get into people's dreams?
Oh, right. Good point. No, we don't.
Joyce also says you can't win against this thing, not if you don't rest. Beginning the theme of the episode, Buffy, please sleep. It's not actually good for you. This is if the cabin pressure should change rapidly, oxygen masks will drop from above you. Put your mask on first.
Yeah.
Buffy, you have to sleep if you're going to save everyone's lives.
I actually put nearly all of the blame on Giles and crew.
Even though he's not here yet.
Well, but just like in general, this whole episode, I'm like, what? I'm sorry, but if I were Giles, the minute that Buffy later is like, I can't sleep, I have to go to work, I'd be like, hey, guess who's not working anymore? Okay? Guess who the fuck is never going to work again because you are literally facing the oldest evil of all time and you need to sleep. Like, sometimes stubborn people like Buffy or myself need to be told that they need to fucking go to sleep. And somebody needs to tell this girl to go the fuck to sleep. And no one's doing it. They're like really letting her run completely on empty. And I'm frustrated about it. But I'm sure I'll get to yell about it more in a little while. For now, she wakes up. And she also starts, I think, a theme that is beginning in this episode, though maybe it started a bit earlier, where she's not sharing all of the information. And I don't know why. Why is she not saying that she has seen Joyce in her dreams? Because Xander asks her and she's like, nothing. I didn't see anything. And it's like, well, I thought we were like all trying to know this unknowable evil as best we could so that we could beat it. So why are
But also, does she think it's the first? She just woke up from a dream. I don't think that she has any reason to think that she just interfaced with something.
But even if it's not the first, her dreams have 6 seasons in a row been really important. Like, Slayer dreams are not just regular people dreams, And even if there's nothing, it's just all the information on the table seems like a good rule of thumb for apocalypses, Anyway.
All right.
I call this next location the Chanty Cave. I'm not sure why. Maybe they're chanting when we first get there, but I just called it the Chanty Cave for the whole run of the episode.
Spike does get dragged through a cave and among some chanting.
Oh, like
Bringers.
the bringers are chanting.
Yeah.
The chanting
I called it the torture cave because I didn't
yeah.
name it until later in my notes.
Mm-hmm. No, it's also fair, also applicable. So the first as Spike sort of almost instantly morphs into the first as Drew and stays as Drew for this entire episode. Lucky for all of us. I would like permission, Jenny, to play the Drusilla jingle now
Yeah,
because
you don't need my permission.
Does she earn it?
Drusilla, you fill my heart with dread, and still I'm led right back to you.
So the Uber Vamp is kicking Spike, and I am laughing out loud in my notes. And I think it's because it's at this moment that I thought to myself, I wonder if Gnarl and the Uber Vamp would be friends. They seem to have some things in common.
I have something for this.
Oh.
But not yet.
Okay. All right.
But I can't wait to share it with you when we get there. For now, I'll just say, oh my God, his teeth.
His teeth and his nail. I mean, his nails is what made me think of Gnarl. Yeah, he's a really fun little guy, isn't he?
Credits, whipping us away from this. I don't even know what to call it. I just,
Yeah, I do. Well, I forgot because we've been, the last time you heard us talk about an episode, it was before prom. So we've been and before Jenny went on an entire East Coast tour and also to South by Southwest. So we've lived a little life in between. So when I sat down to be like, okay, it's time to make a podcast again. Where did we leave off? The thumbnail on Hulu is just a picture of this Uber Vamp. And I was like, oh, right. That's where we left off. Okay. So we come back from the credits to the scene that I was talking about earlier where I'm like, please give me a Dawn and Anya spinoff where they're throwing water in Andrew's face. And then Buffy comes in and they immediately very suspiciously run to the couch and sit down. And they're like, what? And she's like, what? And they're like, well, we thought you were going to ask what we were doing. What? And she's like, what? And then Andrew wakes up.
Andrew wakes up coughing and sputtering, and Anya is quick to say, oh, silly Andrew, you drooled all over yourself. How embarrassing. Covering her tracks.
Yeah, he's like, and then he kind of, the first thing he really remembers is I was about to be dead. You saved me, to Buffy. And they're like, yeah, enough of the chatter. Tell us everything you know about the first. And he's like, the who now? The what? He missed some critical scenes. And
they're like, the first. And he's like, name kind of sucks, actually.
I disagree. I would like to counter Andrew. I mean, he says Lex or Voldemort, and those are particular kinds of evil names, but I actually really like the first as an evil name. I think it's good. So we head off to the Seal of Danzelthorpe. Yes, Jenny, hands up.
Yeah, we're off to the seal. They ask Andrew what the seal does, and he's like, oh, I never found out because there wasn't enough blood. Dawn finds a bunch of blood on Spike's little, the gigantic embroidery hoop that they used to suspend Spike over the...
You can make the biggest cross stitch ever.
And then, Kristin, are you ready? There are just 4 shovels sitting there.
Yep.
They're just there.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, oh, let's use these 4 shovels. Now let's think. Maybe, okay, so Andrew and Jonathan, that's 2.
Mm-hmm.
What are the other 2 shovels from?
Wood had a shovel, didn't he, at some point? I don't know. Maybe it's just
he seems to have his signature shovel that he's currently carrying with him elsewhere in the building.
Maybe it's like when you have a show and you give them your stage plot, maybe there are stage hands for the Seal of Danzelthorpe and they're like, this is the setup, it's the seal is in the center. We need 4 shovels. We need a big cross stitch wheel. These are the placements, set the stage, I thought you were going to talk about, so there's some lines in here that are almost thrown away. And I think this kind of calls back to you saying this episode is super overstuffed. But this line that Dawn says is really funny, I think. She says, there's blood. There's a lot of it. It looks like the first made another sacrificed or a music video. That's funny. It's thrown away. It's just buried in the recesses of this scene. But
yes, Thin your episode out.
Yeah. Regardless, they use the 4 perfectly placed shovels to cover up the seal.
They do. As they are leaving, they're for some reason walking away with all the shovels. They're taking the shovels with them. The shovels that they found by the seal, they are exiting the premises with those shovels. And as they walk, Andrew and Xander accidentally bond over their shared appreciation for a specific run of Wonder Woman comics. Could it be love, Kristin?
I think it could. I love the two of them for each other. They both have major issues, but I think they could help each other become better men, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe they couldn't make each other better men. I don't know.
Well, they could at least try.
They could try. I would like to see them try. So here comes Wood with his shovel. I can't even wait to get to the part where I lose my shit with this shovel, because at the end of this scene, he is like walking away with the shovel and he like flips it, like he like very nonchalantly, he just kind of like lets go of the shovel handle and it spins and then he catches it again, and it is the hottest thing that I have ever seen Principal Wood do to date. And Jenny, I would like to put a serious pin here because we need a Wood jingle and you need to make it for us because we can't wait much longer. The man needs a jingle. Okay.
I celebrate this request.
Thank you.
I recognize the sanctity of this request.
So anyway, before I get hot and bothered by Wood and his shovel, there's a lot of shovel lies to be passed between parties down here in the basement hallway. Wood is saying he found his in the courtyard. He's just returning it. Fucking Dawn and Buffy are allegedly burying a time capsule.
Yes, Dawn asserts that kids of today like Red Bull and Jackass. Still true in 2022?
Yeah. Oh my God. It's total sidebar, but today on the radio, I heard, I'm so upset about it. I heard that Red Bull is sponsoring this thing that's going to be broadcast on Hulu Live, where these two guys who are skydivers both get in a little plane and they fly the two planes up to 14,000 feet, and then they get out of the plane so no one is in the plane, and they skydive and they switch planes as the planes descend, and they attempt to land the planes.
What happens if they don't get into the other planes?
I mean, I guess like probably the worst case scenario, I mean, hopefully the worst case scenario is the planes crash. You know, like I'm sure that they have allotted for the planes crashing. What I'm most afraid of is what happens if somebody gets in a plane and it's too late to land it, because that feels... So I hate it. I'm upset about it, but now I've put it in all of your brains so that we can hold it together.
No, I don't care for this at all.
I know. I just heard it today, which is the only reason I couldn't contain myself when I heard the word Red Bull. But anyway, yes, Red Bull and Jackass still going strong, but also quite a marker of, I think, 2003. My 22nd birthday, like, definitely is around the time when I was drinking vodka Red Bulls at bars, you know?
Woo! Ouch.
Yeah. Also, Wood's like, but could you, like, come back to work? Do you think that you could...
Since you happen to be here on the grounds anyway, do you think you could come back to your job that I made up?
She's like, yeah, I could probably do that. Okay.
And then they walk away from each other and they're looking back over their shoulder. Everyone's like, what's up with that person?
Yeah.
And I just want to mention something that Alba brought up in her watch notes about how this show tends to position Black and POC characters as individuals that we can't trust. So I was doing a little tally and I came up with 4 types.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Sure, sometimes we meet white characters that we also can't trust. But when it comes to BIPOC individuals, what we're looking at is either a straight villain like Mr. Trick, an antagonist like Forrest, or like the Native American spirit manifestations in Pangs, someone who is mysterious and as yet unknowable, sneaking about when they're introduced, like Kendra, like Wood, like Sinea. And then we have individuals who might have a lawful good alignment, but they die immediately, basically as soon as they're introduced, like the 2 Slayers that we see Spike kill in flashbacks.
Right.
these were the results of my research.
Yeah,
and,
pretty.
It's almost as if there's like some kind of pattern.
Yeah, almost like there's like a systemic issue or some kind of like structure at work that, I don't know, does it might have a name.
What could it be?
You know what that sounds like to me? White supremacy. Woven in not so subtly. White supremacy. Open your eyes and that's where you'll find it. Crush that white supremacy.
Yes. Thank you, Alba, for your watch notes. I love getting Alba's watch notes. I just want to say that out loud in the episode because there's like, some hearty notes like the one that Jenny just discussed, but then there's also just like a lot of squeeing and general excitement.
Yeah, the squeeing is my fave.
Yeah.
Also, would it be okay if I shared a prom anecdote about Alba?
I think the audience would love it. Yeah.
The listeners deserve to know about. So there we were, wrapping up night 2. We had loaded all of the gear into our vehicle. We were packed up and ready to go back to the hotel and crash. And then we looked up at the infamous half circle Jenny calendar window, and what to our wondering eyes should appear but the silhouettes of 2 individuals rushing towards each other, meeting in the middle, and then one of them falling to the floor. Who was it, you may ask? One of those individuals was Alba. And what were they getting up to? They were filming a reenactment of Angelus killing Jenny Calendar. And accidentally coming upon this from the exterior, where it looked very cool and fun, was a highlight of prom.
And I'm glad
so thank you, Alba, part 2.
Yeah, I'm glad you told the story because I haven't shared. I have the video footage from
Yes,
inside and outside, as a matter of fact. So now I have a good reason to share it. I can put it up when this episode goes up, so you can all see that.
Excellent.
All right. So, where are we? Who knows? I've scrolled downwards. Okay, so we're back in the dining room.
Research continues. Dawn is Googling Danzelthar.
Mm-hmm.
Willow's doing a locator spell, and Buffy is still refusing to sleep. Why, Kristin? She says, Xander, you couldn't possibly understand. You didn't see the first. And then we see the first. She's remembering in her mind. She's conjuring up the image of a CGI horned demon straight out of like a late 80s fantasy series, like
it
Death
really
Stalker, or like Conan the Barbarian or something. It looks so funny. And they double down on it, Kristin. They're not retconning. They're like, it looked like this in Amends, and it still looks like this now. I screamed.
She screamed and texted me. It was like nearly midnight. The awareness of things are scarier when you don't see them seems to have like just missed the boat on this particular season. Like, or certain moments. But we don't want to see it. We want to imagine it, guys. But also, we're having a great time. So I guess thank you for that.
We're having a great time until, oh no, the first, while also manifesting in its goofy CGI demon form, it possesses Willow, whose eyes go black and whose voice deepens. And after, she's so scared.
Yeah. So a couple of things. First of all, I will not point out that Anya and Willow are, as I write in my notes, back on their dust game. They're
just doing another little spell together.
They're like, oh, how should we research? And then like one of them like pulls out a little vial of magic dust, and what the other one winks, and then they're like, you want to scatter some dust on a map and see what sets a flame?
Yes.
So this is, and there's like I called it a little cauldron. I don't think that's the appropriate name for it, but there's like a little bowl of magical things that they're working with when this happens. And this is where Xander gets his second, like, really good points. So a gathering of good points for Xander here, because He's like, I've been at this shit 6 seasons, almost 7. He doesn't even think about it. He doesn't say anything to anybody. He just picks up the entire vessel and smashes it against the wall. And that is what like frees Willow from that's like she hits the floor as that thing hits the wall. So just like good fucking job, Xander. I'm proud of you.
Xander.
Yes. And then, yeah, like you said, Willow she's terrified. I mean, we just saw, Conversations with Dead People wasn't that long ago. And regardless of if you know that you're being, like, this is the thing, right? If you know you're being manipulated, it might help a little, but it doesn't completely, if you're being manipulated well, as they are, this is in Willow's head, right? She has killed someone because of the way that she used magic, because of the loss, because of the grief. She has been in a position super traumatized where the magic was totally taking her over and like subsuming her. Is that a word? And
it's definitely a word, but what does it mean? Go on.
And she's so scared. And so this feeling that she's just had, even though it was for just a second, is like totally PTSD here. She's so traumatized by feeling that again, even for a brief moment. And she's terrified because she's been told by the villain of the season or not that she's going to kill everyone. So she's real scared.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
No,
ding dong. Daddy's home.
Ding dong, Daddy's home. And he brought your 3 new stepsisters. You know what this episode is like, Kristen? You know when you buy a sleeping bag from the store and it comes in a little sleeve?
Yeah.
And then you take it out of the sleeve and you sleep in it.
You have to get it back in the sleeve.
And no matter what happens, no matter how you smoosh and swirl and scrunch, you will never get that sleeping bag to be as small as it was when it was initially in that sleeve. It will forever be a sausage bursting forth from a casing. It will always be sticking out of the end, like the opening with the little drawstring. You'll never be able to get it all the way back in a satisfactory way.
Yeah, and it's a good metaphor.
What do you think?
It's good. I like the image. I think it's appropriate, and also it's fun because it's a sleeping bag, and it seems like we need at least 3 sleeping bags at this point.
We're gonna need at least 3, because here's Molly, Annabelle, and Kennedy.
Yes.
Annabelle loves the rules. Molly's English accent is almost as good as mine.
I mean, Molly, I want to see Molly speak to Angelus in the English and Irish accent.
Yeah, nice. And then we've got Kennedy, who likes to take charge of the situation.
Yeah,
I mean, a little bit.
It's funny. I didn't think of this while we were watching it, but because of the way that you presented it, like the 3 stepsisters, I'm like, oh, it is. Like there is a sort of like fairy tale-esque delineation, because it's always 3. There's always like, I feel like there's always 3 like maiden or 3. What do you call the 3 ladies in waiting, or 3 stepsisters, or 3. I guess there's only 2 stepsisters in Cinderella, but they are very much archetypes of a certain thing, at least at this point. Well, Annabelle only got to archetype level, and R.I.P. Annabelle, but they all very much occupy different standpoints, different viewpoints, different like energies in the room.
What do you think about Giles' super wide whale corduroy coat?
I think I'm really into it, but I couldn't separate if I was so into it because it was something new on Giles, because I was excited that Giles still had a head on his shoulders, or because Giles is just hot. Almost anything he puts on works for me. So I like it. I have corduroy ! In my notes.
I feel like it's a little less refined than his usual go-tos. It has like a real Salvation Army 90s / Gen Z feel to it, I think. Yeah. But it's working.
Listen,
so Giles.
Listen,
looking
we don't
good.
know what Giles has been doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, who knows what he's been up to?
He's like, yeah, he's, and I think, not to make it like immediately serious from that fun place, but like I do think that they're all kind of losing their shit. So, like, Giles not being quite as refined. I mean, the fucking council blew up. Like, there's been a lot of shit that's been going on. So I think it works. I'm here for corduroy Giles.
Has his hands in his frigging jacket pockets this entire episode. Hug somebody, my dude. Hug someone.
Sorry to barge in. I'm afraid we have a slight apocalypse. A good line.
Also, Kennedy's entry line walks in, looks dead in the face of Buffy, the vampire slayer, and says, "This is the Slayer?" Huh.
I'm going to come out strong right now and say, here for fucking Kennedy. I'm here for fucking Kennedy, okay? I like this whole episode. She does good. And she gets the approval of Buffy as well. She rolls in a way that I appreciate and am here for. Especially, we'll get there. Let's fucking journey through some exposition and then we'll get to more Kennedy. We learn. What do we learn?
These women are potential slayers. Many have been slain all around the world. See Buffy's dreams, FBYID, along with their watchers. The first is on a mission to end the Slayer line, which is a good idea. Yeah. Say what you want about the first, but this is actually a pretty good plan.
Yeah, it's pretty smart. So,
as a podcast network, our focus is bringing you shows you love to listen to. But we also sell merch related to those shows. And partnering with Shopify has made that both possible and simple for us to do. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor adventures, Shopify helps you sell everywhere because they've got you covered from their all-in-one e-commerce platform to their in-person POS system. What's so fantastic about Shopify is how, no matter how big you want to grow, they provide everything you need to get control of your business so you can take it to the next level. Businesses that grow with Shopify. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm. That's all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/realm.
Support for today's episode comes from OneSkin. Did you know that your body starts accumulating senescent cells as early as your 20s? Also called zombie cells. These cells stop producing collagen and hyaluronic acid like they used to, and start secreting an inflammatory substance that makes neighboring cells dysfunctional too. There is an answer for these zombie cells though, and it comes from our friends at OneSkin. OneSkin was founded by an all-woman team of scientists, and is the first and only skin longevity company to target cellular senescence, a key hallmark of aging, with their proprietary OS1 peptide. It's scientifically proven to decrease lines and wrinkles, boost hydration, and help with the thinning skin that often comes with age. And for a limited time, you can try OneSkin and get 15% off using our code BUFFERING when you check out at oneskin.co. I've been using OneSkin's OS1 face and eye topicals for months now, and I have seen undeniable results. My skin feels healthier and brighter. I'm a big fan of their products, and I'm happy to recommend them. OneSkin is the world's first skin longevity company. By focusing on the cellular aspects of aging, OneSkin keeps your skin looking and acting younger for longer. Get started today with 15% off using code BUFFERING at oneskin.co. That's 15% off oneskin.co with code BUFFERING. After you purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you.
Buffy kind of like picks this all up and she's like, okay, so the goal is to erase all the Slayers in training, then Faith, and then me. And I have a question that I would like to just keep on the table for the rest of the season, which is, does it have to go in that order? You know what I mean? Like, is it?
Well,
do they have to kill
appetizer before main course, please? I think of Buffy and Faith as a sort of surf and turf. My ideal would be the first versus both of them at the same time.
Wow, surf and turf. Which one's which? Is Buffy surf and Faith is turf? Definitely, actually. Now
that seems correct.
Yeah. I'm again macro commentary from me. The fact that the phone has not been picked up, they have not fucking called Angel and the team in Los Angeles and gotten Faith out of fucking jail. This is not the time, okay? We need to get Faith in the fucking game. And
Where is Faith?
Where is Faith and why? And I'm like getting ahead of myself, but like what? We met Kendra, right? She had just been called, and we learned that Kendra had been in training since like childhood. Buffy is really the only Slayer, right? That like wasn't, like that didn't get the memo until later, that we're to believe that if you're a potential Slayer, you've been kind of like taught some things. So why are we treating these girls like they can't be a part of the fucking fight? I know we like, get a little bit.
Why is there a question about whether to arm them?
I know. Like, what? You all, I just feel like we should create a manual for like how to fucking deal with an apocalypse for, at least for Giles, but also for the
at
rest
least
of
for
them.
the writers.
Just come on, guys. So, the other thing that I wanted to say, and maybe everyone knows this, is that Giles says the rest were killed along with their watchers in cold blood, and I was like, what does that mean in cold blood? Do you know?
Tell me everything.
Well, I learned that it basically, it came out of the medieval idea that blood is the seat of all of our emotion. So back in the day, if you got angry or passionate, which, we still say like hot-headed.
Hot-blooded.
Right. That like your blood was thought to heat up as you got like more passionate or angry or aroused or whatever.
Your blood would boil.
Your blood would boil. And so if you killed somebody in cold blood, it was even more terrifying because it meant you were like emotionally detached from the situation, which made it, even it's less scary when somebody's like fully furious and like kills somebody than it is when somebody's just like, I'm going to kill you now. So that's what in cold blood, because I was like, but their blood isn't cold. It's warm when they die, right? Wow. What does that mean? So now you know.
Wow. So we learn that the first hasn't been search engine optimized because it predates written history. The only record Giles was aware of about the first was in the council library. He lets everybody know that the council has been blown up and all the Watchers Council members are dead. But he stole the relevant tomes from the Watchers Council before the building got blown up.
Yeah, pretty smart. Do you think it was
Annabelle produces them?
Do you think it was while they were looking at the map of where in the world is Giles that Giles was actually skulking about in the library stealing his book?
on the map there was a tiny blinking dot that they just weren't looking directly at, and it was Giles.
Also, the minute that Giles says the council is blown up, Willow is like, where are the books? Like, she does not give two shits about the council, which, like, fair, but I thought it was very funny. Anya thinks that Giles... Anya's like, oh, well, clearly if he stole the books, he also blew up the council.
Yeah, nice move.
Yeah. She says, this is what happens when you're all stuffy and repressed. Okay, so, this is another sexy moment for Xandru. Andrew, who we forgot was there, is like super invested in the story, and he says something in excitement.
He says, and it cost them their lives! And Buffy's like, can we gag him? Xander gets the duct tape, and it did get a little sexy, didn't it?
It really did. It really, truly did. All right. The first can only appear in the form of dead people. The first is incorporeal. The first can only fight through its followers, who are called the Bringers, and those that it manipulates. This is a lot of fucking...
I'm so tuckered out from absorbing this information.
Oh, God. There's evil, and then there's the thing that created evil, and that is what the first is. And now Giles begins this... Well, there's only one person in the whole house who could help us, and it's you, Buffy, journey, which is a lot. It falls to you. You're the only one who has the strength to protect these girls and the world. Xander, speaking from my inner monologue, but no pressure. Like, why are we doing this? And this is where Kennedy gets like major points right out of the gates, because she's like, what the fuck?
Is not a plan.
No, like, what the fuck kind of plan is this? And also, if this is the Hellmouth, why in the fucking hell did you bring us right here? Good questions, says Kristin and also Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Whew.
Buffy's like, this is why we need Spike. And Anya responsibly counters, yeah, he'll be very helpful unless he's crazy or off killing people or dead or all of the above.
It just, I agree Spike would be helpful, but there are a lot of people who would be helpful. Why are we only focused on Spike? The potential.
Probably because of budgetary constraints.
Right. But like, at least, I don't know, the fact that Angel is not even on the table for conversation and that Faith is not even on the table for conversation to me is glaring, because we know that these are like, of the people we have met, these are like the best fighters. Angel, Spike, and fucking Faith. They are immensely powerful fighters, and we're only thinking about Spike. Speaking of Spike, he is cosplaying as Buffy from Prophecy Girl.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
The Turok-Han is drowning Spike over and over again. How fun.
Yeah. Drew. That's why our kind makes such good dollies. So hard to kill. Now, this moment, I beg of you, listener, go back, watch this moment, because the fucking Uber vamp thinks that this is the funniest joke he's ever heard. His lipless little mouth pulls back into like a half smile, half laugh. And I told Jenny that I had to like pause the show for like 5 minutes just to guffaw because I thought it was so funny.
Yeah. Drew does a little sort of dance where she's kind of hiking her skirt up.
So good. She's so good, Juliet Landau. Like these movements, you know that the camera people were like, oh, okay. We didn't know she was okay. Oh, okay.
Then the tongue cluck and we're back to drowning again.
Yeah, she says, you spilled our secrets and I'm not done with you yet. Yes. And then we go to, is this State Street? I couldn't remember what the name of the street was.
State Street. Okay. Yeah, that's the main drag in Sunnydale. Buffy's telling Giles about ye old evil Christmas tree lot, seemingly for the first time since season 3.
Yeah, it seems like
they never discussed it.
Seems like important information, but... Oh, remember when we were all at the Christmas tree lot and Joyce and Buffy were picking out a tree and Joyce was like, invite your girlfriend. And Buffy was like, invite your boyfriend. Oh, simpler times.
Buffy and Giles say that they miss each other.
Yeah.
Which is sad. But if you miss each other so much, Giles, why are you being so stiff and weird in this episode?
Yeah. And also later when she falls in the hole, why do you walk away? Okay, so here's one of the lines that Alba squeaked at, which I agree. We cut back to the Summers house and Andrew is like talking to Xander. So how long have you followed Buffy?
Yeah, how long have you been a disciple of Buffy?
Xander's like, what? Oh, we're friends. This is when we get our grand sleeping arrangements conversation. Willow is like, okay, we'll put Annabelle here and Molly here. And Kennedy's like, well, and at first you're like, Kennedy, why do you have more of an opinion on where people should go than the people who live in this house? And then you learn very quickly why Kennedy has an opinion, because she is trying to get in somebody's bed.
Yes, she hopes Willow doesn't hog the covers, and Willow is agape.
Willow literally almost falls down. She has never been, and like, to be fair, Willow has never been flirted with like this. Like, this is direct eye contact.
Is
overt flirtation. Oz certainly did not flirt like that. Tara certainly did not flirt like that. Willow is verklempt. She's like,
God. This is magnified when Dawn rolls up and is like, does she want to eat? And Willow was like,
here for it. I'm fucking here for it.
We get information we don't need, which is that Dawn burned the mac and cheese, Annabelle's a vegetarian, and Molly likes cookies.
Biscuits.
Great. And then we're back to ye old abandoned Christmas tree lot. It's December 17th,
Why?
So I guess they're not having a tree lot here anymore, but they left the lights up for 4 years.
Yeah, right. It's like, did they not sell enough Christmas trees? Like the population dwindled too much. They were like, they can come to fucking somewhere else, the neighboring town for their Christmas trees.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Buffy finds the entrance by falling through the floor into the below into the cave, and then we get a fight.
Before we get a fight, Kristin, you know what we get? We get some scuttling. We get some a character's shape flashing across the frame, one way and then the other. And this is where we see the Camden toy connective tissue between Gnarl and Turok-Han the most, I think.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, a little gifty. And then Buffy's like walking and turns and, oh shit, Turok-Han is right there. He's like, boo. He's like, prank Sinatra.
Yeah, it's true. I actually completely forgot that Camden Toy also played the Uber Vamp. I know that we're calling him, what is it, Turok-Han?
Turok-Han.
But Uber Vamp just makes me die. I don't know. Uber Vamp just is so funny to me.
Yeah, well, I think his whole look combined with Uber Vamp makes it really hard for me to take him seriously. So I'm trying to stick to Turok-Han.
Turok-Han, it makes me, exactly. Turok-Han is like serious business. Uber Vamp is like when he's fucking Frank Sinatra. So there's a fight, and the biggest thing that happens...
Hard puncher.
Yeah,
he's a hard puncher.
This is like glory level punches coming from Turok-Han. And Buffy stakes him. And guess what? Nope. That's not going to do it, pal. He pulls the stake right out of his fucking heart.
Smiles and pulls it out of his chest.
Yeah, completely unfazed. And then we get what I refer to as the stalactite slap.
Yes.
And proud of myself because I looked up, is it stalactite or is it stalagmite?
Ceiling. C for ceiling, Kristin.
For ceiling. Yeah, I didn't have that cheat in my brain, but I was right anyway. My guess was right.
Also in this fight scene, the Turok-Han does a cartwheel for no practical purpose that I can discern. It's just between attacks.
Before we so right, he doesn't die. Buffy so this is where I'm like, where the fuck did Giles go?
Yeah, where is Giles?
She's like trying to climb out of the hole and no one is there. And at first, like, because I forget things very easily, and I was like, did somebody take Giles? Did something happen to Giles? No, Giles is just strolling around the empty tree lot. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, I don't know. He maybe went to go check on the sun to see if it was going to rise soon. Because as he comes back, he is haloed by the rising sun.
Right.
And then Turok-Han cartoonishly holds his hands up against the sun's rays and sort of hisses back down into the hole. And we get this beautiful Santa Barbara B-roll, baby.
Yeah. The sunset. You're right. It is cartoonish because it made me think. The only thing I thought of when I saw this was Hocus Pocus when they use the car like headlights to fake them out as the sun. You know?
Yeah.
So all right. The sun has come up, thank God, keeping Turok-Han down below, and Giles and Buffy return home, and we're really learning that there's a lot of people in this house. Everyone's in the kitchen. They're all already awake because at least 2 of them are on UK time. And Giles, and this is, again, like we kind of talked about this in a bigger way, but Giles is like, maybe you should leave. And why? And Buffy, again, is like the one that's kind of in the correct lane with this. And she's like, no, they're fucking here, so they should stay for this too. She says, welcome to the war room. Oh, more exposition.
You're going to love this new packet of info we have for you. Are you ready? Giles tells Buffy that what she just battled was a Turok-Han. Giles says, as Neanderthals are to humans, Turok-Hans are to vampires. They are the vampires. Oh, ha! They are vampires that vampires fear. Yes. They are an ancient and entirely different race. And until this morning, Giles thought they were a myth.
Yeah. That's a pretty big deal for like Giles to have not known that something was actually real and then to learn that it is, you know? Like, he knows a lot of stuff. Do you think Wesley knew?
No. Certainly not.
So this is second time in the episode where I don't understand why Buffy doesn't share more information. One of the girls says, did you slay it? And she just says, no. She doesn't say, No, I put a stake in its fucking heart and it smiled at me without lips and then pulled the stake out of its heart.
This would be valuable info.
Tell everyone everything, okay? Like, first rule of an apocalypse, tell everyone everything.
Yeah, share your info, people. Giles suggests that Buffy get some rest while the sun is up. Buffy, you can't do anything right now. Please sleep. You're in desperate need of sleep. Thank you.
Nope.
But she won't.
She won't. She's got to go to work. Ridiculous.
She's got to go to work. And are you ready, Kristin? I have some data that could fall under the umbrella of Hellmouth.
Oh, great.
Buffy is Googling evil at her desk. And she says, 1 through 10 of 900,517 results. Oh, that is a lot. I decided to do a little research because I think the internet has expanded somewhat since 2002.
Just like that sleeping bag. You sure can't fucking stuff that internet back in the bag it came in.
You sure can't. I Googled evil, and guess how many results there were?
Ooh, triple.
Triple would be like 3 million, right?
Okay.
There were 746 million results.
Nice.
So evil has been hard at work. In the last 20 years.
Wow. From age 22 to age 41, evil has increased so much. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So she narrows it by adding manifestations of evil. And it's at this moment that Principal Wood walks around the corner and he's reading manifestations of evil as she panics and types in the movies. It's good. It's funny.
You're searching for evil movies?
Yeah. And then he has this like weird moment. Like this entire exchange is very weird. He sits down and he's like, out of nowhere, once you see true evil, it can have some serious afterburn. You can't unsee what you saw. ... Ever.
Buffy's like, HR?
Yeah.
Has anyone seen HR?
I think there's something wrong with the principal. Then she's like, what kind of movies do you like? Because, like, clearly, I mean, I understand Buffy's interactions with him because she's like, what is up with this guy? But also, I don't want to, like, ask him directly because that's weird. So, like, how do I ask him questions that might allow him to clue me in on some things? But I don't understand the other side of this, which is the Wood side. And Buffy says, what kind of movies do you like? And then Wood, trying to outline his last line, is like, mysteries. Like, I like figuring out what's underneath it all at the very end.
Yeah, very unsuspicious, sir. I also love when Buffy's like scrambling to cover herself and she's like, I just love evil movies. You know, like Exorcist, Blair Witch. Sarah Michelle Gellar's delivery on that bit like just feels so deliciously like desperate and like someone who's never watched a scary movie.
I agree. It's funny. I mean, it's not funny, I guess, because it is a delicious little moment. But I also noticed that. I was like, it's just this quick little thing, but she nails it. Sarah Michelle Gellar, you know?
Look at her go.
Giving us her all, even when she's listing 2 scary movies. She was like, oh shit, I can't say I know what you did last summer. I was in that one.
Or Scream 2.
Oh, fuck. All right, back to the Shanty Cave, where we get Drusilla the First choose a side Spike, and then we get a beautiful poem from Drusilla the First. Wiggle, giggle, squiggle.
Lot of gyration. Lots of gyration.
So much gyration. Spike digging on the First, saying, "You're not Drew. She was crazier than you," and it pisses her off. You know, like it pisses the First off.
She's not pleased.
Then we get a lot of daddy talk from Drusilla the First. Daddy, no kicking. I've been so good, but I can be bad if you like. Bad daddy needs a caning. Yeah. Oh, and we also get a stupid, stubborn daddy before the scene ends. Basically, Spike is like, get bent. I mean, he says get bent, and he is saying it even without saying it before we get there.
Kristin?
Jenny?
I am disturbed.
Go on.
here we are in a bathroom.
Well, it's weird the way this scene is set up because there's a school bell with an exterior shot or something, and then we're in a bathroom.
Yeah, well, it feels like Buffy's in the bathroom at work, right? She's scurried away because she's very bruised and sore, and she needs to get a look at her wounds. And in order to access her wounds, she does not take her little jacket off. She instead unzips the whole frigging sleeve from a hidden zipper on the inside of the sleeve. And I need to extend a question to our listeners. Has this ever happened to you? Have you ever encountered such a garment feature, a zip-away sleeve? If you have, we want to hear your story. Please call us at 1-800-ZIP-SLEEVE. That's SLEV. Please. Have you ever seen such a garment, or is this the folly of the wardrobe department?
Yeah,
who just wanted to make it easy for Buffy to access her wound for the camera?
I've seen zippers on sleeves that go, at most up to like mid-arm, at most, but usually it's just like a slight wrist zipper, let them flare out a little bit.
Slight wrist zip.
But not this. And I had the same response. My notes say, suit zipper sleeve? ? Exclamation point. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Before we even have a moment to really digest and
this should have been our tip-off that this is a dream.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, maybe that's why they allowed themselves to get away with this. Like, it's the suit jacket Buffy wishes she had. So here's Joyce again in the bathroom, and they're not in the school bathroom. They're in the bathroom at the Summers house, which is what comes clear now. And it was very, it took me, if I hadn't taken notes on the scene, I think I would have been a little confused. But Joyce is saying, Buffy, you have to heal. There's a couple of line exchanges in this episode that I feel like are really, really important. This is one of them, right? Buffy, you have to heal. And Buffy says, I don't have time. Then Joyce very, very astutely says, these friends of yours put too much pressure on you.
Mm-hmm.
And Buffy's like, okay, but evil. And Joyce is like, listen, evil is always here. It's a part of us, and this is I wish that Joyce were here and actually saying these things, because these are important things. Buffy does need to heal. She does need to rest. Her friends are putting too much pressure on her. And yes, this is the apocalypse, but this is apocalypse number 3, 4. You know what I mean? It's here. Evil is here. And this is a big deal, but it's not a big enough deal for Buffy to really kill herself the way that she's killing herself right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Is that how you take the evil is a part of us? It's natural, evil is a part of life? Or, because that's where it started to feel firsty for me.
Firsty. Not to be confused with thirsty. It's firsty.
Yeah. BRB, I'm going on Instagram to post a first trap.
First trap.
Please tag us in all your best hashtag first traps on Instagram.
I don't know. I mean, from my understanding of the first so far, it just feels like the first wants to kill all of the Slayers, including Buffy. So there will be no more Slayers, and then do really evil shit. So I just don't think that the first would also want to have a philosophical conversation with Buffy about evil and its place in the world. To me, it just. I don't know. I think we were just I don't remember when we were just maybe with Helen we were talking about the difference of when Buffy is called a killer or a slayer, when people refer to her as a killer and a slayer. And so that's on my mind. It's just this idea of where the darkness is inside of us and where the line is between good and evil is such a constant in the show that Joyce and the presence of Joyce saying evil is always here, it's a part of us. Maybe I'm just so soothed that she's here in the bathroom with us, but it just to me felt more of the same. Please lay your head down, baby. You know what I mean? Please just put your head down. The evil will be here when you go to sleep, and it'll still be here when you wake up. Please just rest. We need you to rest. Yeah. But I don't know. Luckily for everyone, I actually don't know. I literally only know what happens up until this point in the series.
Unfortunately, Buffy wakes up from this dream to discover, oh God, she fell asleep while she was counseling a student named Roger, whose name she didn't even know.
Whoops.
She asserts, I'm hip. I'm young, I'm cool, I'm not like the other adults.
Oh, Roger's
like,
burnt.
fuck you, buddy.
Yeah, this is where Roger learns that adults suck, you know? He's like, you're just like all the others. Nobody gives a shit about me. Mm-hmm. He skulks off to probably go smoke a cigarette off campus. And then Wood, speaking of skulking, just in case he didn't make you raise your eyebrow enough with his last 2 lines of dialogue, he is pressed up against the blinds of his office window watching Buffy at her desk.
Boy, it's been a minute since we got to see someone through some mini blinds.
Yeah. Oh my God. All right. So the Summers house, the sun is setting. And this is the weapons situation where they are like giving weapons to all of the Scoobies, but the potentials are being left out. Xander, this is great, actually. I would like a t-shirt that says this on it. Xander's basically like making a joke about death, and Willow's like, hey, don't scare the new kids. They just got here. They're not like as skilled as we are at joking about death and the apocalypse. And she looks at them and she goes, you'll be okay, or even better. It's like our guarantee. I love it.
Yeah. Not much of a guarantee in my opinion.
I mean, better than dead, you know?
Yeah. Willow says to Buffy that she's sorry she let her down. And then she says, with the magic going all, and me going all, and everything going all,
Yeah, Willow and Buffy are really, you know, like obviously no one's okay, but Willow and Buffy are showing up for each other in ways that they haven't really been able to a lot in previous seasons.
Best friends!
Yeah, real best friends. We saw Buffy help Willow out before. Willow is saying, I knew you needed help, like really trying to be there for Buffy. Xander is wearing a tool belt that I love. Like everyone's doing a good job. Speaking of Xander's tool belt, Andrew's spidey sense is tingling. Andrew is basically like, guys, can I get out of the chair now, please? I'm good again. To which Buffy says, and when were you good before? And Andrew's like, okay, yeah, you have a point. I was never good, but please let me out of this chair.
Also, when Andrew is like, I'm a bad guy, you see Xander reacting and also saying a line that has clearly been cut and muted. What is he saying? Does anyone know?
He's like, you're my bad guy. You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
Wow. So we get a little, I think this is like a cutaway moment. I don't know. I've marked it in my notes as though it is because it's just Buffy and Giles, right?
Mm-hmm. And
Giles is saying, the sunset should be any minute. You have all my faith, and they are depending on you. Why is Giles being like this?
Both. Just how about the first one?
Yeah.
You have all my faith.
Yeah, and speaking of faith, I'm glad I said that, Buffy, because we should call Faith.
I just remembered there's a whole other vampire slayer.
Entire other slayer that we should maybe get over here. And then we learn that one of our 3 potentials, Annabelle, has left.
And I think it's interesting because this is the potential who the whole episode has been like, we'll have weapons when the Slayer deems we are ready. Yeah. We will do whatever we are asked.
Yeah.
We are really into the rules. But she just couldn't. This is what happens
when you're all stuffy and repressed.
And stuffy. You haul ass down the back alleys of Sunnydale's and you run your tiny little throat right into the waiting paw of the Turok-Han. R.I.P. Annabelle.
R.I.P. Annabelle. But this is just foolish. It's like, leave. I'm not even like mad at her for leaving because like Kennedy said, what are you all fucking doing? But not
leave in the daylight, my dude.
Give yourself a head start. Get while the sun is up. So Buffy finds Annabelle dead in the alley, which they signaled to us because she was wearing a crucifix and it's just lying all bloody in the alleyway. How many bloody crucifixes do you think have been found in the alleyways of Sunnydale?
Uncountable.
Just absolutely uncountable. So then we get a second fight. The Uber Vamp and Buffy are going at it again. This is intense.
Dude, he is on her and she's like, I cannot believe I'm going to get my ass beaten for a second time by a monster that looks this goofy. Where is Turok-Han getting his little leather tunic and pants wardrobe? Is he making them himself? Does Turok-Han have a little needle and thread?
I think he does.
And a tanning kit?
I think he does. Those fingernails require a needle and thread, you know. She spits her own blood in his face. We have never seen this before. Please tell me that I am wrong, but I do not think that we have ever seen Buffy Summers spit her own blood in the face of a demon. This is intense shit.
I don't think so.
Also, the whole time she's wearing a pea coat. My notes say a pea coat in this economy? Are you kidding me? A pea coat? You can't move around in a pea coat. Why would she put a pea coat on?
Doesn't offer the flexibility you need for your best little moves. They are fighting in this industrial warehouse setting, which looks an awful lot like... Have you ever seen the Jet Li film, The One?
I have not.
Well, Kristin, then I can't possibly make this matter to you, but it looks a lot like the finale fight setting of that film. And while they're batting each other about, I'm reminded of Faith's original nemesis, the vampire who was the original, I think, employer, I guess, of Mr. Trick, who killed Faith's watcher, Kakistos.
Oh,
who was a vampire who was so old he had little cloven hooves.
Right.
And I'm just wondering where the vampire where hooves even get involved. You know?
Right. Like evolutionarily
in vampire
speaking.
biology.
Yeah.
And then where do hooves enter the timeline with regard to Turok-Han?
Yeah,
These
because Turok-Han, we're to believe that Turok-Han is an ancestor of Kakistos, and Kakistos is an ancestor of the rest of them, right? Like it's like the Neanderthal standing up, except for it's like the Uber.
Yeah, we need a little the dawn of man or whatever.
Yeah, I'd like to see the
poster.
evolution. Also, does that mean that Giles is like one of those people who doesn't believe in evolution, but only for vampires? Like, you know what I mean? Because he's like, I thought those were a myth. It's like, what do you think about? Yeah, great. Kakistos. What the fuck did we call Kakistos? It's driving me nuts. I've been trying to think of it ever since you said. I just remember having like a little jaunty name for Kakistos, but I can't remember what it was.
Buffy called him Kissing Toast for a little while.
Oh, all right. Well, if you remember, maybe it was just that, but if you remember that we had a fun nickname, just let me know, you know, because I forget.
Buffy dumps a fuck ton of very heavy looking pipes down on this fucker, and we're like, huzzah, the day is won. And she's like, still like trying to motor out of there. And then, oh no, have you ever been more sad to hear a sound than the sound of these heavy metal pipes, one by one, fluffing off of the pile of pipes as Turok-Han stands and climbs out of this pile and immediately leaps like 20 feet in the air. This dude is serious.
Yeah, I mean, really, like vampires have like kind of decreased in their abilities. Evolution. You think with evolution, you're supposed to be like refining your skills, but it seems like mostly that went to like unbuttoning your shirt and having spiky hair. You know, like that their like actual survival instincts and abilities maybe did not improve as time went on.
He also throws her through a cinder block wall.
Yeah.
Which is good because then stuff falls on her and I guess Turok-Han goes away, allowing Xander, Willow, and Giles the chance to find her.
Yeah.
And take her back to the Summers house.
Yeah, she's looking bad, but we'll get there in a second. First, we go back to the Chanty Cave for one last exchange between Drew the First and Spike. Drew is like, do you know why you're alive? You're alive because I'm not done with you. And Spike is like, I'm out. And Drusilla is like, what makes you think that you'll even be good at all? And what does Spike say? What does he say?
Spike says, because she believes in me! Buffy believes in me!
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Good thing we were reminded that Buffy believes in him in the previous Leons.
Thank God. Otherwise, we might have been like, does she? No, she does. We just saw it. Yeah. Okay, so this is the point in my watch where I got incredibly emotional, because, and like, I know we're about to like go into this very, this is a pivotal monologue in the series, you know, like this is one of the ones that you remember. But before we get there, it's just this shot of Buffy sitting in this chair. And she
is looking like one bruised apple.
It is so hard to look at her in this moment. If you're me, and I think probably most of you, she is not okay. And we hear these like muffled kind of like Buffy instead of POV, EOV.
EOV?
Yeah.
No,
sort of...
POH?
Oh, yeah. Point of hearing. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're sort of like, what do we do? I think there might, you know, be internal bleeding. She'll be okay, but like she's real fucked up. Like just like you know. And then we hear Giles clearly say, "The first predates everything we've ever known or can know. It's everywhere. It's pure. I don't know if we can fight it." So Buffy enters now, and it's like very apparent that no one knew she was even listening or around. And she's like, "You're right, Giles. We don't know how to fight it. We don't know when it's going to come. We can't run. We can't hide. We can't pretend it's not the end because it is. Something's always been there to try and destroy the world. We've beaten them back, but we're not dealing with them anymore. We're dealing with the reason they exist. Evil, the strongest, the first." So... you know we're going to play you the sound clip of the rest of the fucking speech. Of course we are. Come on. But this is, and like they said earlier, like this isn't evil. This is the thing that created evil. But I feel like this phrasing of it is more impactful for me. It makes me have chills. Right? We're not dealing with them anymore. We're dealing with the reason they exist. Evil. It just feels we've had this podcast since 2016. That's a totally normal year to be alive in the United States. And I just feel like to that conversation and to the conversation where we overlay the themes of Buffy to like the larger world, there's something very bone chilling about that, right? This is no longer about them. It's about the why. It's like about what's underneath. It's about like, you know, the root of it all, the evil of it all. And that is fucking chilling.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's next level.
Yeah.
For them.
Yeah. And us. So Giles is like, Buffy, I know you're tired. And like, I don't even think Giles is responding to what she said. I think he's just seeing her and feeling the way that I felt when I was seeing her earlier.
Yeah.
And so let's listen to the rest of Buffy's speech here.
"I'm beyond tired. I'm beyond scared. I'm standing on the mouth of hell, and it is going to swallow me whole. And it'll choke on me. We're not ready. They're not ready. They think we're going to wait for the end to come, like we always do. I'm done waiting. They want an apocalypse. Well, we'll give them one. Anyone else who wants to run, do it now. Because we just became an army. We just declared war. From now on, we won't just face our worst fears. We will seek them out. We will find them and cut out their hearts one by one until the first shows itself for what it really is. And I'll kill it myself. There is only one thing on this earth more powerful than evil. And that's us. Any questions?
When this girl says, "and it'll choke on me," heavy metal guitar, we're not ready, they're not ready, they want an apocalypse, etc. Cue the strings.
Yeah. Are you saying that this speech is very metal?
It's like metal. It's cinematic. It's just very like stadium ready.
It's good. It'll choke on me is it has to be one of my favorite lines of the whole series.
Pretty tight.
It's so good. It's so fucking good because it just encapsulates this fucking idea that like I might not live to see tomorrow, but I'm going to make it as difficult for this motherfucker as I can on my way out. And that is, ooh, as Jenny Owen Youngs would say, a spicy fucking meatball. That's some good shit right there.
Kristin, I assure you, the gabagool is fresh.
So we're in it. And I have to say, like, we are only at episode 10. This is quite a monologue for episode 10. This is like finale level monologuing.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, guys, like I'm looking at my watch. Like we still have 12. We
like 12
do you
more
know
episodes.
We have 12 to go? Because...
save some of this stuff for the end.
Yeah. But a lot agreeing with Jenny from before. This could have been probably 2 episodes. We could have maybe unspooled the exposition a little better so that we had some more things to chew on instead of just getting like information dumps. But, ooh, I would do it all over again for this monologue.
As would I. And speaking of really cramming it in, I think it's time that we take a little detour over to the Sexual Tension Awards.
I know nothing makes me feel sexier than hearing somebody say, cram it in.
Sexual Tension Award.
Well, welcome back to our first post-prom Sexual Tension Awards. Feels like a whole new universe, doesn't it, Kristin?
It does. It's like starting again. It's like recharging our engines, you know?
Yes. Spring is in the air. Trees are leafing out.
Yeah, it's like the Twitter-pated Tension Awards.
What?
Remember Twitter-pated from Bambi? Come on.
Oh, I don't remember.
It's like the like cartoon child version of getting horny.
Eek. Don't remind me. Don't tell me what this is.
I'm so sorry to everyone. I didn't realize that I was even going to say that, but it is. It's like spring is in the air and they all get Twitter-pated and that's when they all find partners.
This feels inappropriate. And I'm, as the host of the Sexual Tension Awards, I'm saying that.
I didn't write it. I'm just telling you.
Okay. Racing as fast as I possibly can away in a different direction.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about our many noms in their various slots for this episode's STAs. In slot number 1, there's a lot going on. There's Wonder Woman. There's duct tape. There's memories of interrogations gone by. Will sparks fly? And will their pillow talk be at least partially in Klingon? It's Xandru!
Ooh, yeah, baby.
In slot number 2, these girls and their dust, they can't stay away. They can't help but make it get a little sexy. It's Anya and Willow.
Oh, love you guys.
In slot number 3, with a directness that is alarming to me, but not to everyone. Hoping that no covers shall be hogged, it's Willow and Kennedy. Eek!
I'm here for it. Kennedy, be as direct as you need to.
Yeah, okay. And in slot number 4, Anya's heard it all. You know this. We know this. But why not consider all of what she has heard from the many bad demons whom may or may not have made her horny in their retellings of their various bad exploits.
Listen, for me it's a battle between Xandru versus Kennedy and Willow. These are the 2 reasons that we like invented the Sexual Tension Awards, you know? Like not to whatever, the other 2 are good, but like there's a lot of things that are happening between the 4 of those guys. Okay? All right.
Well, you know what Kristin wants, but what do you want? What does your heart of hearts call out for? Please let us know by participating in this episode's Sexual Tension Awards Twitter poll, which you can find at BufferingCast for 1 week following the publishing of this episode.
Sexual Tension Award. Well, Jenny, another one bites the dust.
Gravy.
And another one down, and another one down. Another one bites the dust.
I can't even believe it. I can't believe how we are racing along.
We're moving so tidily and slowly, carefully and cautiously. Not even halfway through yet. We have miles to go. So, a medium episode, sort of like a fantastic episode and a not so fantastic episode together in one episode. Right? That's the final rating on this guy. Bring on the night.
Yeah.
Probably one of the best monologues in the whole series. A lot of exposition, Giles and corduroy, like positives and negatives all around. R.I.P. Annabelle, we hardly knew ye. Never R.I.P. Turok-Han. Can't kill that guy.
Nope.
And I guess we'll just see what happens next, won't we, Jenny?
Indeed, we shall. Man, have you checked out the episode image on Hulu for the next episode?
I haven't. Do you want to tell me what it is, or I'd just be surprised?
I'd like you to be surprised.
Okay.
Everyone at home who's watching on Hulu, bon appetit. Well, that's it for this episode, I suppose. For now, I am Jenny Owen Youngs, and when I'm not watching Buffy, I'm usually writing, recording, and, oh my gosh, performing songs. I just got home at the time of this taping from my East Coast dates with friend of the pod, Rishikesh Hirway, and we are going to be playing some more shows in May in Seattle, Portland, San Francisco, and Los Angeles. Tickets and info at jennyowenyoungs.com. Snag your tickets, and while you are waiting, watching the clock, praying for time to speed along so that you can come to my show sooner, pass that time by finding my songs on your favorite digital music platform, listening on repeat. Find me on socials at Jenny Owen Youngs, or join me on Twitch for basically weekly streams. Come hang out.
Yeah, you should go, do all those things, but now I can say that I have seen not one, but two of the shows. I saw the show in Saugerties, New York, and I saw the show in Brooklyn, New York, and it is a really fucking cool thing to go and do. It is not.
Oh.
It really is. It's it's not a podcast taping, and it's not just a concert of music. It's two wonderful humans sitting on the stage, showing incredible pictures from their life and telling stories, and then singing beautiful songs. It's not a thing that you get to do very often, and it's really special. So if you are lucky enough to be on the West Coast, I also say get yourself a fucking ticket.
Oh, thanks, Kristin.
You're welcome. And yeah, my name is Kristin Russo. My website and my social handles are my first and middle name, which is Kristin Noeline, Kristin Noeline. If you go on over to my website, you can learn about the work that I do with LGBTQ communities. It is April, or almost, as of this airing, it'll be April. And what that means for me is that everyone is realizing it's almost June, and that's Pride Month. So they are calling me to speak at their workplaces. So if that's you and you need to schedule an event, now's the time, because June can be a lift. So you can book me to speak at your workplace in any month of the year. And yeah, you can learn about my cats and other gallivanting that I do on my social media. I'm on Instagram and on Twitter.
Buffering the Vampire Slayer is on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at BufferingCast. And you could drop us an email at bufferingthevampireslayer@gmail.com.
You can support the work that we do in one of many ways. First and foremost, Patreon is a great direct way to support us, and also comes with a lot of really fun perks. You can get the music in advance. You can come hang out with us. You can listen to bonus podcasts. You can get chord sheets. There's just a lot going on over there.
Oh, yeah.
You can also buy some of our merchandise, new hot keychains that get you access into room 3 at the Sunnydale Motor Inn. Are up now. Or you can just be lovely, but you already are. So you're doing that one already. Good job.
Oh, yeah. Nice work. This episode was produced by Kristin Russo, Jenny Owen Youngs, and Alba Daza, with support from our consultant, Mackenzie MacDade. It was edited by John Mark Nelson. And till next time, woo!
Looking ragged, feeling rough. Give it all, is it ever enough? No more running, nowhere to hide. I'm black and blue and ready to fight. Ooh, already died so many times I forgot it. It's just my luck, keep coming up from the bottom. Ooh, you think you have me be. But in the end you'll choke on me. Working up a appetite. They wanna smile, I'd rather bite. I fucking had it, I'm fucking done. If it's the end, then let's have fun. Ooh, already died so many times I forgot her. Covered in blood, I'm coming up from the bottom. Ooh, you think you have me be. But in the end you'll choke on me. You'll choke on me. You'll choke on me. No more running, nowhere to hide. I'm black and blue and ready to die.
Welcome to the small town of Chinook, where faith runs deep and secrets run deeper. In this new thriller, religion and crime collide when a gruesome murder rocks the isolated Montana community. Everyone is quick to point their fingers at a drug-addicted teenager, but local deputy Ruth Vogel isn't convinced. She suspects connections to a powerful religious group. Enter federal agent V.B. Laureau, who has been investigating a local church for possible criminal activity. The pair form an unlikely partnership to catch the killer, unearthing secrets that leave Ruth torn between her duty to the law, her religious convictions, and her very own family. But something more sinister than murder is afoot, and someone is watching Ruth. Chinook, starring Kelly Marie Tran and Sanaa Lathan. Listen to Chinook wherever you get your podcasts.
Ah, the web tore. Those that both creators and were created by the threads disentangle from the fringes to feast on the very thing that spawned them.
What's up, Timmy? This is how you deal with weird!
No! Do not harm my children!
Oh, you lost a feather. Can I keep it?
No, you can't force me to!
Do you know what lies within nothing?
Rocket is in trouble, Akasa. Can we turn on the windshield remotely?
No, she could lose her job as an Akasar.
I don't fear Vehar.
No, but you fear me. If you intend to trick me, I will not hesitate to sever the oath bond entirely.
Why didn't you help me? Coward! I don't have a parachute! I don't like free falling!
Counterbalance, a high fantasy audio drama. Season 2, coming 15th of October 2023. Learn more on trilunas.com.